You can bake it, boil it, smash it, hash it, roast it, or fry it. The potato is versatile and vastly loved. It was first domesticated about 10,000 years ago, and today it is one of the most important crops in the world. More than 350 million tons of potatoes are produced every year.
Ladies and gentlemen of Africa and the world, brace yourselves because what you're about to hear is no ordinary success story. This is not just about food. This is not just about exports. This is not just about agriculture. This is about a revolution rooted deep in the soil of Burkina Faso, sprouting from a mystery buried for nearly 1,000 years. In just 2 seasons, yes, just 2, Burkina Faso has stunned the entire continent. This small West African nation has become the largest exporter of potatoes in all of Africa, shattering expectations, defying all logic, and rewriting the rules of agribusiness on the continent. Over $4.2 billion in potato exports in under 12 months. From local farms in Wahiguya and Kaya to international supermarkets in Nairobi, Cairo, Mumbai, and even Paris, the world is now consuming the potato. And yet this isn't even the most shocking part, because behind this agricultural miracle lies an I-know-year-old secret, a secret guarded for centuries by rural clans, passed through coded songs, preserved in sacred oral traditions, and hidden beneath the very soil that colonizers tried to poison with doubt and dependency. A secret that, when fully understood, could not only feed Africa but free her. My people, this is a wake-up call. If you're listening from Lagos, Nairobi, Accra, Addis Ababa, Harare, stand up. If you believe Africa must feed itself, empower itself, and rise by its own resources, then now is the time to act. Burkina Faso's potato revolution is not just a headline, it's a blueprint, it's a weapon, and it is a message to every young African. You do not need foreign aid to succeed. You need your land, you need your truth, and you need to reclaim what was buried. You see, while Western analysts scratch their heads trying to figure out how, Burkina Faso pulled off this so-called miracle. Those of us paying attention know it didn't happen overnight. It was the result of resistance, resilience, and the revival of ancient knowledge systems long dismissed by colonial science. It started with the rediscovery of Tuberancion, an ancient potato strain unique to the Sahel once thought extinct, now engineered by local agro-scientists to withstand drought, regenerate soil, and produce 4 times the yield of conventional varieties. But how did we get here? How did a country once dismissed as one of the poorest in the world suddenly take the lead in a multi-billion-dollar agricultural sector? The answer lies in a fusion of the old and the new. It lies in the defiance of a people no longer willing to be the dumping ground for foreign foods, gamos, and broken trade deals. It lies in the leadership of a government that said, no more export of raw dreams, no more Western monopoly on African soil. From now on, we build our empire in potatoes. Yes, potatoes. The same crop they told us couldn't grow in volume here. The same crop monopolized by Europe. The same crop once used to feed colonial armies. Now, turned into a symbol of African sovereignty and self-reliance. When Burkina Faso invested in solar-powered irrigation, organic composting, and micro-distribution hubs, the world didn't pay attention when Captain Ibrahim announced a zero hunger, zero import policy for root vegetables. They laughed. But no one is laughing now, because while others printed money, Burkina Faso planted power. While the world scrambled for currency, we cultivated resilience. While trade wars raged in Europe and Asia, Burkina Faso exported peace in the form of food. And now, as global food prices rise and climate change threatens traditional agriculture systems, Burkina Faso stands tall not just as an exporter, but as an educator. African delegations are flying in weekly to study the Sahelian potato model. From Rwanda to Zambia, from Senegal to Sudan, ministers and agronomists alike are asking, how did they do it? Can we do it too? Let me tell you, yes, we can, and we must, but make no mistake. This isn't just about economic progress. This is about historical redemption. For nearly a millennium, the knowledge of sustainable root farming has lived in the stories of the Mosi kingdoms, the chants of the elders, and the hidden scrolls of Bobo Dioulasso. When invaders came, they tried to erase it. When missionaries came, they tried to replace it, but the land remembered, and now the land is speaking. The rise of the potato is more than a victory for farmers. It is a declaration of independence, a signal that Africa's greatest weapon is her wisdom, and her future lies not in the soil of others but in her own. So I say to the youth of Africa, get your hands dirty, dig into your roots literally and metaphorically, ask your grandparents about the crops they grew before colonization, visit your villages, reclaim your lost technologies, because the real gold is not underground waiting to be mined, it's on the surface waiting to be planted. Burkina Faso has shown us the way. Now the question is, who's next? Africa, wake up, the world is watching, and the potato revolution is just the beginning.
Welcome to Talk of Africa 360, your source for insightful news, analysis, and thoughtful commentary. If you value informed perspectives and fact-based reporting, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss an update. Disclaimer: the content on this channel is based on reliable public sources and credible online information. It is intended strictly for educational and analytical purposes. We do not promote or endorse political violence, hate speech, or any form of discrimination. Our goal is to inform, not to inflame. Thanks for being here. Let's stay informed together.
Brothers and sisters of Africa and the global Pan-African family, today we gather to witness a moment that redefines our agricultural destiny. A day when the soil of Burkina Faso, nourished not by foreign aid but by ancestral wisdom and unrelenting spirit, produces a miracle that sends tremors across the global food economy. On this third day of August in the year 2025, I announce with a heart full of pride and a voice echoing with the cries of our ancestors, Burkina Faso has become the highest exporter of potatoes in all of Africa. Yes, you heard right, Burkina Faso, the landlocked nation once mocked for its lack of coastline, once belittled by foreign experts who said it would never rise above subsistence farming. The same Burkina Faso that was once dependent on imported food aid now sits at the apex of an African agricultural revolution. And this revolution is built not on borrowed science but on a rediscovered truth buried beneath our feet for over 900 years. Let this be a clarion call to every African soul. The age of doubt is over. The season of second-guessing is gone. We are no longer just consumers of foreign products or test subjects of Western experiments. We are producers, innovators, leaders, and it begins ironically and beautifully with the humble potato. This is not merely about potatoes. No, this is a symbol. A living, breathing sign that our salvation lies in the seed we plant, not in the debt we borrow. It is a testament to what we can achieve when we return to our roots and stop measuring our progress by how close we mimic the West. Let me say this boldly: Africa's future is not in their laboratories but in our land, and now I call upon every youth listening, every farmer watching, every policymaker wondering where to place their next bet. Wake up. Wake up to the reality that Burkina Faso has just redefined the economics of hope. If we can conquer global potato markets, then no dream is too grand, no vision too ambitious, no soil too poor. So stand with us, support local agriculture, invest in traditional knowledge, push for agro-industrial sovereignty, because if this revolution stays in Burkina Faso alone, it will inspire, but if it spreads across Africa, it will transform history. Now let us trace how we arrived at this magnificent hour, and why the story of Burkina Faso's potatoes is not only the story of food, it is the story of resistance, rebirth, and revelation. Once upon a time, nearly 900 years ago, the Moga people of present-day Yatenga in northern Burkina Faso cultivated a mysterious root crop that grew resiliently even in harsh seasons. Ancient oral traditions speak of a Nakuma, loosely translating to Earth's silent guardian. It was revered not only for its taste but for its ability to survive long dry spells and nourish whole communities when the millet failed and the sorghum gave up. In the 12th century, nomadic traders from across the Sahel and merchants traveling through Timbuktu referenced a golden tuber traded from the Mosi Empire. Historians long dismissed these references, believing the root was some form of yam or sweet potato. But in 2022, archaeobotanical research unearthed ancient agricultural storage pits in Wahiguya containing desiccated remnants of Solanum tuberosum, a species of potato. The findings were dismissed by Western scholars. Impossible, they said. Potatoes came from South America after the Columbian Exchange. But the evidence was irrefutable. And then the oral historians of the region came forward with chants, proverbs, and rituals that for centuries had celebrated Nakuma as the crop that sings beneath the soil. This discovery electrified Burkina Faso's scientific community under Captain Ibrahim's leadership. The Ministry of Agriculture, in partnership with traditional leaders and agroanthropologists, launched Project Naina Rebirth, a nation-wide campaign to identify, isolate, and mass-produce the ancient potato strain. While the West was busy creating genetically modified super spuds and synthetic fertilizers, Burkina Faso went underground literally. Farmers in the Central Plateau, Sahel, and Hautes Bassins regions rediscovered forgotten irrigation methods, seed preservation techniques, and natural pest control using neem leaves and shea bark, documented in their grandparents' chants and folk songs. Within 3 years, Burkina Faso had tripled its potato yields. Within 4, it had overtaken Kenya, Morocco, and South Africa, and by 2025, it stunned the world by exporting over $8.4 billion worth of high-quality organic potatoes to East Africa, Asia, and the European Union. It signed a historic trade agreement with the African Union Agro-Corridor linking Burkina Faso to Ethiopia, Somalia, and Sudan through a vast agricultural rail route co-developed with Mali and Niger. Today, Burkina Faso supplies 34% of the total potato demand of Africa, feeding 170 million people annually. Its uniquely dry-resistant, nutrient-rich potato is now branded globally as Faso Gold, and it has become the preferred ingredient in everything from fries in Nairobi to baby food in Beijing. But it wasn't just the science, it was the sovereignty. Refused World Bank patents, he declined Monsanto's offer to enhance the seeds. He declared that all potato varieties belong to the people of Burkina Faso, not to any foreign lab, not to any private company, not to any donor agency, and he passed legislation that made potato farming, processing, and exportation tax-free for women's cooperatives and youth-led agricultural startups. The government also built the Zinyari Agri-Tech Center, the largest potato processing factory in West Africa, run entirely on solar power and engineering. This is not aid, this is not charity, this is dignity, this is the resurrection of African knowledge systems. Yet perhaps the most beautiful part of the journey is that it was powered by memory. Grandmothers who once sang of the tuber were brought into training programs to teach soil rituals. Children now learn the story of Naina Kuma. In school textbooks, traditional potato festivals, long buried under colonial religion and imported tastes, have returned with joy and pride. And while the world watches in disbelief, Burkina Faso simply continues to grow silently, steadily, proudly. In the face of drought, it has planted. In the face of cynicism, it has believed. In the face of colonized agricultural models, it has resisted. In the face of hunger, it has fed. And now, brothers and sisters, I ask you again, what are we waiting for? If Burkina Faso can rise, so can Uganda. If we can awaken 900-year-old secrets from the soil, so can Rwanda, Togo, Gabon, Congo, Benin, and Ghana. If we can feed 170 million from our deserts, then what are the plains of Nigeria waiting for? Let us replicate the model. Let us build agricultural universities based on indigenous science, not European textbooks. Let us train engineers who first speak to the land before they speak to the laptop. Let us honor our elders as archives of data, not relics of a forgotten age. Africa's green revolution will not be imported, it will rise from our womb. And in closing, I say this. There will come a day when they will ask how Africa rose, and they will expect us to mention billionaires, satellites, artificial intelligence, and nanotech. But we will simply say, we remembered the potato, we listened to the earth, we returned to who we were, and in doing so, we became who we were always meant to be. Long live the farmers, long live the land, long live the spirit of Naina Kuma, long live Burkina Faso, long live Africa.
As reactions continue to pour in from across the continent, one thing is clear. Africa is demanding respect, sovereignty, and accountability. Was this just a diplomatic misstep or a deeper sign of shifting global alliances? We'll be watching closely. If you found this story important, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real, unfiltered African news. This is Talk of Africa 360, telling the stories that matter.